welcome everyone else who I just let in. If others are joining, then we'll let them in. But yeah, welcome. I'm trying to share my screen now, and then we will kickstart the webinar about the MSc in regenerative medicine. And I'm really hoping to answer all your questions when I can. I hope that you can now see the presentation. Great. Yeah, my name is Emmanuel. I'm a senior lecturer here at the Blizzard, working on skin diseases and wound healing. And I'm also co-director of the MSc and Regenerative Medicine course. And I'm on this course particularly, I'm module lead for the thesis project. And I'm here today to show you a bit the course structure and tell you more about the course and answer all your questions. So I think the best way to start is that I give you a brief overview how the course structure is set out for the different options we have for this regenerative medicine course, and then highlight a few project examples and how the teaching is done on this course, and then I'm happy to answer all your questions. So starting first with what is regenerative medicine. So regenerative medicine is basically uses cell biology and biological component to actually regenerate tissue damage or organ damage. And so it's a really vast field that reaches out into medicine, but also, of course, in bioengineering applications where we try to help these regenerative processes. It includes a lot of stem cell biologies, because we are now realizing that almost every organ has stem cells that we can utilize to regenerate these structures. And of course, it's associated with a lot of diseases where tissue damage or organ damage occurs. And here again, the emphasis is how can we actually design strategies to regenerate these processes. So we have designed a course around all these topics, and we offer this course in two different setups. So on the one hand, we have a MSc course in regenerative medicine. So this is offered in two options, one as a full-time, which lasts 1 year, or as a part-time option, where the course is split among 2 years. It is highly interdisciplinary, so it involves not only the Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry at Queen Mary, but also the School of Engineering. So really bringing together the medical aspect, but also the bioengineering aspect. It consists of 8 taught modules, and then at the end, there is a dissertation research project that lasts 3 months. So this course has been running now for several years, and now very recently, we have now established another option for this regenerative medicine course, and this is the MRes in regenerative medicine. So again, this is currently offered for the first time this year as a full-time option. And we have developed this course because a lot of our research students on previous courses wanted to have a longer research project, so giving them more experience in a lab setting. So again, the course structure is very similar, and we'll highlight this in a minute, but again, it's highly disciplinary. It involves, again, the both faculties, but the differences to the MSc course is that it only has 6 taught modules, and then it expanded the research project up to 6 months length. For both courses, the first term is identical, so all students will have to enroll on 4 modules that each has 15 credits, and these include will give them a basis on research skills, on stem cells, and on the regenerative processes at the molecular and cellular level, and also give them an overview about the bioengineering and tissue engineering topics. In term 2, what will happen is that the MSc students will have to choose 4 individual modules, and this is from 5 different choices, while the MRes students only choose 2 MRes modules, because the MRes students will already start the 6-month research project in term 2. And for these elective modules, we have a variety of different topics. One is to dive deeper into tissue-specific stem cells. The other is to more specialize on induced pluripotent stem cells, or get more insights into neurodegenerative diseases, or medical ethical regulatory affair courses, or the digital manufacture of healthcare and innovations. So again, these you can freely choose among these modules. The only difference between the 2 courses is that the MSc course has to choose 4, while the MRes only 2. And in term 2, term 3, the research project starts again, highlighting that for the MRes, this already starts in term 2, while the MSc students will start the research project only in the 3rd term. So these research projects are a collection of projects that are offered across different faculties within Queen Mary. And what we will do, we will assemble a selection of research projects that the students then will be able to choose from. And the idea is that the students will get a list of potential projects and then meet the supervisors during the 1st term and will submit a list of their preferences. Usually we ask them to submit 5 different choices, and then we'll try to assign everyone one of their top choices, and this assignment will begin for term 2. Clearly, the MRes projects will be longer, more detailed, because they have 6 months for the completion, while the MSc project will be shorter in nature, so to fit into the 3 months research project window. The lab work will begin for the MSc student at the beginning of term 2, and this will be usually in January, while for the MSc student, this will happen in May. At the end, late August, both cohorts of students will submit the dissertation, as well as have to present an oral presentation where they will showcase their results. So what are these example projects? So this is just picking from previous years. So this is really a huge range of topics. And here I just took titles from previous year. So it ranges from epigenetic regulation in trophoblast stem cells, or looking at the impact of aging on pluripotent stem cells, or having more tissue engineering related project where students will work with 3D printing of tissues and look how the cells are behaving, look how they can generate these scaffolds. Or they can also look at more in vivo related applications, like looking at the molecular signaling of wound healing, where they then study how different cells and signaling pathways interact to lead to this improved skin regeneration. So what is the teaching format? The teaching format is delivered as via mixed mode of education. So we have on-campus activities, and these usually include lectures, workshops, and student presentations. So clearly we want the students to be highly engaged in these in-person activities. Nevertheless, we will also have asynchronized, so online activities. These include readings, videos, quizzes, and the students will always be able to log on the taught sessions remotely if necessary, but we highly encourage that students will be on site, because the learning experience will be much better, and also the peer-to-peer interaction. All the exams will be delivered online. When we look at the regenerative medicine spectrum that we have here within Queen Mary, we have a really strong focus on cardiovascular regeneration, and here we have while on the then also we have a strong focus on the connective tissue repair. We have researchers working on skin regeneration, but also on joint healing, or also the dentistry faculty look at the regeneration of gum diseases. Then we have a strong focus also on the rare diseases. Here we're exploring gene editing technologies, gene therapy, or stem cell-based models to look more deeper into these rare skin diseases and work towards curative treatments. And then, of course, the Barts Cancer Institute has a strong focus on looking at cell therapies or immune therapies of cancer diseases, as well as cancer stem cells. Within the faculty, and especially with this interdisciplinary setup with the School of Bioengineering, we are able not only to use these standard models that we have. You see on the left a cell culture dish where we can culture cells. Also, we have expertise and in vivo models, but also we are now developing these more complex in vivo models, and we have, especially in collaboration with the School of Engineering, we are now more and more working towards this more complex organ on a chip model, where we are able to replace a lot of these more simplistic models and combine them with these more advanced models that will then help, again, the development of regenerative medicine applications. Who will be actually teaching you? And within Queen Mary, all of the scientists that will deliver lectures on this course are actually research active. So there's a strong emphasis to combine the lecture content with ongoing research within the institute. And I want to just pick here 3 examples of module leads from different lecture modules and showcast a bit the research. So on the one hand, we have Cleo Bishop, who's leading one of the modules in term 1, and her research focuses on how actually cells age, and specifically looking into the molecular mechanisms of cellular senescence, which is a specific cell state where cells are not actively dividing anymore, but are highly influencing their surrounding tissue. And she has developed state-of-the-art high-throughput technologies to actually measure these cells' behaviors in vitro, and then developing regenerative medicine applications using these technologies. We have, on the other hand, Michael Branco, who has specialized on looking into the gene regulation in stem cells, specifically how little pieces of the DNA called transposable elements are actually able to influence their cell behavior and further differentiation. Then lastly, an example from the bioengineering field, we have Professor John Connolly, who is the lead of this course, or the director of this course, who has specialized in developing bioengineering applications in looking into processes like skin wound healing and regeneration. And here on the left, you see an example of a skin model that has been grown in the cell culture, and he's developing a lot of 3D printing technologies to actually help the healing process and help to regenerate chronic wounds. So just admitting last two, just saw that two more are joining. Lastly, what do our students do after this course? So a lot of them continue to do a PhD in the UK or internationally. Others move into research assistant positions in industry, or move towards scientific publishing or teaching. So it's a really wide course of career opportunities that you have after completing the course. Especially in term 3, we are delivering career workshops that are tailored to showing students career option within academia, but also outside academia. So, and we are inviting for this workshop ex-students that will tell their experience, how they further progress from this course, how this course has helped them to go into different areas of in their professional life. So again, PhD is not the only option. So we have a lot of students that actually moved on to other more industry-focused career trajectories. And we are really want also to highlight the further support that Queen Mary offers in the Queen Mary Career and Enterprise for that is actually then helping students also beyond the completion of the course to move on in their careers. So that's it from me so far. So this is the Blizzard where we are based, one of the campuses of Queen Mary within London. The course will, a huge part of the course will actually take place in this building, and but then it will also spread to the other campuses nearby. And I will stop sharing my screen, and I'm happy to take any questions. Stop sharing. There we go. Hi, either you are happy to write questions in the chat, or just, I think we're not that many, so please just raise your hand and then we can. Yeah, so one question in the chat was about bioengineering course also include bioscaffold. Yes, of course, it's one part of it. Any more questions? Any upper age limits? No. It's anyway, we are all going to lifelong learning. So yes, there's no age limit.
One thing I will say, hi Emmanuel, sorry I'm a little bit late. So I'm Matt Cayley, I'm another one of the faculty organising the MSc. We had a lovely retired dentist who did the MSc a couple of years ago. And while there's no upper age limit, he did have trouble readjusting to learning after about 40 years in the workplace. So it was a slightly steep learning curve for him, but there's no upper age limit on that.
So there's another question. There are any processes for PhD applications for alumni? So no, there's not a direct link to a PhD program here within Queen Mary. However, you will of course get in contact with a lot of researchers within Queen Mary that potentially offer PhD students ships later on. But again, there's no direct transition to a PhD program.
And what we also have for alumni from the MSc is a private LinkedIn alumni network that you join when you finish the MSc. And we post a lot of PhD adverts on there. We post a lot of job and links and allow you to link in with former MSc students and talk to them about what they've done as well. So while there isn't a direct pipeline, that'd be lovely if there was. We do continue to support our MSc students way past the end of the course.
More questions? So please, really, this is fully for you to ask any questions. I'm an anesthesiology doctor. I'm interested in.
Right, Pranay. So this is a full-time MSc course. So while there's no reason why you can't do it while you're having dialysis, it may be hard to time your dialysis around the lectures and course content. That might be something we would need to talk to you about at another time. There's no reason why you couldn't, but it's just making sure that we know we can sort out from the outset that your medical treatment isn't going to be disrupted by the teaching, by the projects. So if this is something that you're thinking about, please probably drop Emmanuel, myself, or John Connolly an email, or better still, all three of us, and that can be something we can talk about and see if it is actually reasonable to combine our teaching with your treatment. Again, I can't see a problem. Emmanuel, can you think of a?
No, especially I want to emphasize that for the research projects, while we offer a lot of wet lab research projects that require you, of course, to be on site in the lab during that project, we also offer some dry lab projects, more bioinformatically linked projects. So it's not a requirement to be the whole time in the lab if this is something to that will help to schedule your medical treatment with the coursework. Yes, we can provide our emails. We'll drop them in the chat in a minute. I'll take the next question, or Matt, you can type them in the chat. Do we have family hospitals, or do we need to find it ourselves? So Queen Mary doesn't offer accommodations for students. So yes, you would be required to find it yourself.
That's fine. So we have an accommodations team at Queen Mary. I've just dropped the link into the accommodations team. So there are residences. They give preference to undergraduate students over postgraduate students, but they do have an accommodation service that will help you. if you follow that, you'll see there are QM residences which do include family accommodation, and there's an alternative private halls and hostels and all sorts of links in there. So this is, it's a really good. So the link I've just dropped in, qmul.ac.uk/residences, is a really good one-stop shop for you to look at what the university will offer and support our students. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yes, I just popped in my email address for further questions. Then the next question was the MRes course eligible for Commonwealth Master Scholarship and Cleaving Scholarships. Matt, any ideas on that?
I am just checking the Commonwealth Scholarship. I can't see a reason why it wouldn't be, because these are fully accredited master's programs at our university. It will be worth contacting the particular scholarship schemes directly, and we are happy to give them more information about the course. But the MRes is a master's course at Queen Mary, so it should be eligible. I'm just looking at the I don't think. Yeah, I'm looking at the Commonwealth Scholarship Scheme. It doesn't have a list of courses. It just says courses at UK universities, I think. So I believe that will be fine. As for the Achieving Scholarship, I imagine that will be fine. It's worth contacting them directly to make sure that you're eligible, because I imagine you will be, but just to make sure that you're eligible, and to confirm that that Queen Mary is an eligible institution. Again, it should be. We're a Russell Group University in the UK, so we're not exactly. We've been around for a while. We're not sort of an overnight pop up. Even though the MRes course is brand new, it should still be fine.
Yes. So the next question was, how do we choose our research projects? So there will be a list with a short description for each project, and then the students are encouraged to talk to the supervisors of the project that they are interested in. And this is a bit, to really engage you to dive into the research that is going on at Queen Mary, and really visit different labs, talk to the students that are in the labs, and really talk to the supervisors. So yes, the next question was, should we talk to the supervisors? Yes, this is actually highly encouraged.
But that's after starting the course.
After starting the course. Yeah. So this is basically, we will hand out a list with names of the supervisors that we will assemble during term 1. And then you will get this list in the middle of term 1. And then you will have several weeks to actually contact them. But clearly this only happens when you are here on site on the course. And most of the supervisors probably you will already meet during the teaching, giving lectures and so on. So it's not that you are completely surrounded by unfamiliar faces. How would we will select this? So again, you are then encouraged to submit 5 top choices. Clearly, we can't guarantee that every student will get a top choice, because we really want that usually there's one supervisor, one student, so that they can really fully engage with the student and provide a good teaching experience. So we so far have always managed to get everyone happy and give them their top 3 choices. But again, it all depends what projects are coming in. And we don't know yet which projects will come in, because clearly these are all projects that are involved in the ongoing research. So, you're not coming to the lab to do things that are just irrelevant or no one is interested in. Usually the supervisors want to give projects to students where they are interested in seeing what data is coming out, but usually we have really a big range of projects, and there's always more projects than students. So it's not that there's students that will only get a project that no one likes. So hope this answered the question. Then moving on with the next question was...
Assessments of taught modules. I can probably take this one because I've
Mhm.
done more of this. So each of our taught modules is assessed differently. But they follow a general pattern of assessment. So we do in-course assessments. These include assessed presentations, things like literature reviews, research, research proposals, which are like little mini grants. They would include some in-course, in-module exams. We usually have a larger written piece of work for each of the modules, and then most of our modules also include an exam. These exams are a mixture of different question types. We tend to not use multiple choice questions at master's level at Queen Mary. We go for short answer questions, problem solving questions, experimental design questions, things that try and test our students to make sure not only can they remember what they'd be taught, but whether they actually understand it or not. For each of the modules, we do exam practices. We have mock and previous papers that are available to the students, and we will give assessment feedback throughout the module and throughout the course. So it's really important that you understand that you're assessed in lots of different ways, and you get lots of support in the assessments. Does that answer your question? Was that Srijoni? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and finally, the research project. So this is more in Emmanuel's territory. So our research project, we ask you to write a significant dissertation. So it's
10,000 words.
Emmanuel?
Yeah, it's 10,000 words, and then there will be an oral presentation at the end, and the dissertation, and then the final mark for the whole research dissertation is mainly the written piece of the dissertation, but then there's also I think 10% that is about how you have been doing in the lab. So feedback from the supervisor as well. Then there's an oral presentation, which accounts another 25% to the final mark. Yes. Then there's a question around, applied for scholarship, and then it will be published in early September. Matt, I think that...
So this is worth talking to our admissions team about. Nizabek. Sorry, apologies for butchering your name.
Is that correct, Nizabek?
Brilliant. I'm not usually that good at getting pronunciations right. So it's worth talking to our admissions team. So what we can do is, if you give us you have applied, we have given you an offer, conditional or whatever. As I understand it, if you find out in early September, you can then decide to go forward with completing your admission. So you would pay your tuition fees, etc. At that point. But yeah, it's worth talking to our admissions team, just letting them know that this is happening, because they will continue to be in contact with you if you have received an offer, to make sure to see what point you're pushing it through into a firm accepted offer. we're very aware of these type of scholarships, and that they're often relatively last minute in terms of when you get told you've got them and you want to start, a couple of weeks later. So the important thing is information, Nizabek. So it's just letting our admissions team know what's happening, that this is where you are, and making sure that they're happy with it. So I think that's your best. That's the best course. I cannot see a problem. Good luck with the competition. But that would be, again, communications. So let our team know, and if you're having any concerns about this, we can connect you. Emmanuel and myself can connect you to our education managers. We have specific education managers for the course who can help with this as well. So they're often our first contact when it comes to linking in with admissions. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Next question was, when can I apply for this program? Could there be an instance where one applies to this program this year and starts enrolling on the program next year?
So our applications are open at the moment.
Yeah.
That's Nimrod. Our applications are open at the moment, and that's for this year. Again, talking to the admissions team, we can give you, if you apply, if you meet our criteria, we will send you an offer. It might be conditional on something, or it might be an unconditional offer. I think you can defer that place for a year, but again, it's through communicating with our admissions team. So it's the 24-25 admissions are open at the moment for applicants. But if you need to defer the place, that I think is also possible. Again, it's talking with our admissions team. They're very helpful, if sometimes slow to respond, because they are dealing with lots and lots of different applicants. If you don't hear anything back, and if you're getting concerned, Nimrod, just drop us an email, and we'll see if we can help. But your first point of contact around this should be admissions, because we can say stuff, but if they don't accept it, I can say, that's fine. But if admissions aren't happy with that, then that's not going to be helpful whatsoever. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
But yeah, hopefully, if you should have already applied. That's how we've got your email. Or you, I don't. Yeah, I.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good. The next question was around, you are asking if the IELTS test is mandatory. Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but yes.
I believe it is, unless you
even if you have done your degrees in English, that will not count if it's not done in the UK.
I believe so. Again, this is talking with our admissions team. They have hard rules, but there is often a little bit of flexibility. So the hard rules are basically for your protection. Because we teach only in English, and because the assessments, as we mentioned earlier, include significant amounts of written work, as well as oral presentations, as well as so short answer question comprehension exams, we're making sure that we are enrolling students who are going to be able to keep up with the course. And that's why having IELTS or equivalent is important. If your diplomas in anesthesiology from your Indian institutes are considered to be equivalent, then admissions may be happy with that. But again, that's not something that Emmanuel and I can tell you now without a little bit more information.
So a good step forward could be that you just try to apply, and then usually you will get feedback quite quickly.
Yeah.
What documents are missing,
Can I use this knowledge in clinical medicine if I shift to clinical side after this course? don't quite understand. So you want to do another clinical course after the MSc?
No, it's me. Actually, I wanted to know whether I can use this knowledge I gain in the regenerative medicine course and then apply it in the clinical side.
Okay. We have an awful lot of clinicians who do our course, and they do that predominantly because they want to know more detail about lots of the things we teach. So, for example, I run a second semester tissue specific stem cells module, and we link everything in that we're teaching into clinical practice. So it's not teaching you how to do stem cell therapy. That's way beyond what we can do during the course, but it's giving you lots more information about the backgrounds of the fields and sort of and how these are being used clinically. We include clinicians as part of our teaching team. So yes, you can use it for your clinical practice, and it might inform you as to future directions you take. But it's not a diploma in any specific clinical skill. We do offer clinical skills courses at Queen Mary in things like aesthetic medicine and in dermatology and other very specific clinical skills. This is a science-based course, but it's really interesting and has been really interesting and really useful to clinicians in the past who have used it to inform their future decisions, whether they've gone into clinical research, whether they've gone into a specialist area that they now know more about that they've learnt on in the course. Same with our tissue engineering modules. They are talking about state-of-the-art tissue engineering approaches, things that haven't got into clinic yet because they're too new. So it will be useful to add information to you, but it's not going to tell you a specific skill. It's not a skills based. It's not a clinical skills course. Is that helpful?
Yes. Are you using recombinant human alpha clotho in your researches?
Recombinant human. So I didn't get the last.
Recombinant human clotho or alpha clotho?
I'm not personally, no. But alpha clotho, is that the
Yes.
KLOTHO?
Yes, KLOTHO.
I'm not. I examined a PhD thesis who was doing research on that last week. So I know researchers who are using it in London, but there's no one at Queen Mary that I know of who's using that at the moment. It's fascinating. I learned a lot about it while examining the PhD. So I know exactly where you're coming from in terms of sort of a regenerative anti-aging therapies with the protein. But at the moment, I don't know of anyone using that at Queen Mary, and we don't. But it's not something we are currently discussing in the course. However, as I said, I was literally learning about it the other week during examining PhD, so it's something that's in my mind.
Actually, this is useful in renal regeneration.
Mm.
And I think renal regeneration is not specifically been done at Queen Mary's.
No, we don't have a strong renal unit.
No.
We have a very strong cardiac unit. We have very strong skin research. We have very strong musculoskeletal research and neuroscience. We don't have very, very strong nephrology, I'm afraid.
Okay. Can I ask some deeper question about this on mail?
About
this alpha clotho? I don't think it will be wise to ask something very deep on it.
No.
On here.
No, as I said, it's not something that currently being used.
Well, you don't use, but can I ask something on this on email?
You can, but I'm probably not the right person to ask. But please do.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not something I've used, and it's also quite a mix. There's a mixed bag in the literature. Sorry, we're digressing away from the MSc. This often happens in terms of research. It's a mixed bag in the literature as to the overexpression of the protein or the synthetic protein. Yeah, drop an email and I'll see if I can answer you, or at least tell you that I can't.
Good. Then we had another question for if we have lab-based modules among the taught modules.
Yes-ish.
Yes-ish. Yeah, there's one research methods module in term 1, but correct me if I'm wrong, but
and a number of the modules do have some small lab bits in them, but they're not what I would call a lab-based module. The lab-based module is the lab-based time is purely for the dissertation module. For the MSc course, that starts in semester 3, and that is 3 months of full-time lab work as part of a research group. With the MRes, you would start in semester 1, so semester 2, and that would be part-time in semester 2 alongside taught modules, and then full-time in semester 3. So in total, you'll be attached to your project for 6 months, though the first 3 months of that would be in conjunction with taught modules.
yeah. Next question was, can we do PhD in this area at Queen Mary without a master's? In theory, yes, but again, the challenge is to get a PhD studentship or a PhD position within a group. And clearly what we see also from our experience, it really helps if you have more research experience and a master's, to kind of get to know the researchers, the people, and then orientate you better in the field. But in theory, it's possible to start a PhD only with a bachelor's.
It's also, so Jennifer, the PhDs in the UK are usually about 4 years, and they're very intense. And a lot of people will start research who I've spoken to quite a few of our master's students. They've started their research projects. Before they started their research projects, they wanted to do a PhD. After spending 3 months in the lab doing a research project, they decided that PhDs weren't really for them because they didn't actually enjoy the lab-based research. They quite liked the idea of it, but when they were actually in the lab, they didn't enjoy it as much as they thought, and they went off in different directions. So some of our students, as well as gaining the expertise that Emmanuel was talking about, which is invaluable and makes you much better candidates, they also use it to see if they actually want to commit 4 years of their life to a PhD project. The worst thing you can do is going into a PhD without fully committing to it, because then you're sort of wasting your time, your money, and your supervisor's time. So lots of our students will use the MSc projects as a, do I actually want to spend this much time in the lab? Is the lab work for me, or do I actually want to do some other approach in science? Next question.
The next question is if there is need of a ATAS approval for doing the course.
So this is the Academic Technology Approval Scheme, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. I think this is a question for admission. Matt, I don't think so, but correct me if I'm wrong.
So this is all around UK immigration control. So this is all around your visa. None of the work we're doing is of military technology. I don't believe we need ATAS certification to do the course, but again, this will be for admissions to decide, and on your visa, I think. You're asking all the hard questions, Pranay. I think this is, again, something to include in your email. I don't think so, but I don't want to commit to that. If you need, when do you need? If you need an ATAS certificate, I'm just going through the ATAS certificate.
Yeah, okay.
Well, Manuel can
I can take the next question while you're looking at this. The next question was from Jennifer. How many optional subjects can we choose? So term 1, it's all mandatory. So every student does the 4 taught modules. And then in semester 2, there is the option of choosing either 2 for the MRes or 4 modules from 5 elective modules. I hope this answered the question. Otherwise, anyone else more questions while Matt is still digging into the ATA?
So I've checked the ATS site. I would class our course as biomedical science. And for biomedical science from India, Pranay, it says you do not need it as a taught research student. Apologies, I'm actually on holiday today. I'm taking some time off from my holiday with my children to answer your questions. My child wanted his Lego. So Pranay, so I checked on the ATAS site because it's very specific to country, nationality, and course. But from the site I checked through, you do not need an ATAS certificate to do this. As I said, I class our course as biomedical sciences, and it's taught. So it says an Indian resident an Indian national doesn't need an ATAS certificate. You can check yourself. I popped the link in there. What I was just checking was if there's any other potential description, but I would class it as biomedical sciences, non-specific, I think. Yeah, it doesn't fit into, even the biosciences non-specific says you don't need one. So it's either biomedical or biosciences. There's no other description for it. So apparently you're fine, Pranay. Indian nationals are not considered to be a threat in terms of biomedical science. Fun.
Good. Any more questions? Well, if not, we happy to close the session. And again, any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And we hope to be able to direct you to the right person in case you want to apply for this course, or if you want to have more guidance, if a MRes or MSc course is more suited for your future career plans. We're very happy to have a chat about that. Great. Anything else, Matt? Otherwise,
I don't think so. I'm hopefully looking forward to seeing some of you in sort of October for or end of September for the start of the course. But yeah, email us, Pranay, especially email us with you had some very specific questions for yourself. So it's definitely worthwhile doing that. And yeah.
fantastic. Then we can close the session. Thanks everyone for coming and joining us today. And I second what Matt said. So really hope that some of you will be able to join us for the course. And because we are both teaching on this course, so really excited about each new student cohort that's coming in. With this, I wish you a good rest of the day and bye.